Oh, it's 10 o'clock. Welcome everyone to our council meeting today, 30th of April in Wariada. We have an apology from Councillor Sean Holmes. Any more thoughts? Can I have a mover to Councillor Collins and Councillor Christian? Those in favour say aye. Could I please, can I have a mover that the minutes from the ordinary meeting held on the 26th of March 2026 as circulated be taken as read and confirmed? Councillor Bishton and Councillor Sherman, those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Can I have a call for declarations of interest, gifts received and conflicts of interest? Is there anyone that would like to declare an interest in any of the items on the agenda today?
I have an interest in item 1.4, General Manager Performance Review, confidential section.
Thank you. Can I have a mover and a seconder for that, please? Councillor Crump and Councillor Bishton, those in favour say aye. We have an additional late item. Can I have a mover that the additional late item being General Manager Performance Review be dealt with in confidential? Yes. Councillor Wilmot is the seconder and Councillor, there's the mover and Councillor Bishton.
Ravi move on.
Oh, sorry. So moving right along on page 5, we have my mayoral minute. I would just like to move the mayoral minute be noted for information, and could I ask for a seconder for that? Councillor Crispin, those in favour say aye. Thank you. Carried. Okay, we will start off on page 9, and we have the Executive Services report read by our General Manager, Leah Daly. Anyone that has questions or would like to talk about anything in that report, please go ahead.
Another registered nurse at one hour, which is great. How many more do we need to up to full capacity?
1,
That's great.
and we can meet that 24/7, which we didn't ever think we would achieve. So it's fabulous.
I would say good news.
We're growing our own. I won't mention her name, but we have a AAN that's working her way through RN training, sponsored by council. So that's a positive. We had 3, but 2 have dropped off, and we've got 1 left, and she's looking very promising.
They do that online, or they do a bit of
They have to go to Armidale.
what, the block? Or
Block time. Yeah.
my question was in confidential part of it.
But
Oh. Justin can speak, but we found out this week that we have received $90,000 in funding to do the study and all the foundation, not the foundation works, but the desk work to establish our independent living units behind the room. So Justin can expand on that a bit.
Yeah, so as a regional housing strategic planning fund, I put it in, I was waiting for it, so it's good to finally come through on Tuesday afternoon. 90,000 there, it's pretty much, all the legwork and site analysis, the concept plan, the layout, how we're going to build it, what materials we want people to build with, all that sort of stuff from start to end, so that when there is more funding coming along, that we're ready to go essentially. So that was good, takes a big burden off us and gets us that little bit step process of having something there.
Shovel ready.
That's great.
Very exciting.
done. Thank you. Any more questions on that report?
I don't know what page it starts and finishes on. A bit of a, I don't like technology, but just it was impressive to see we've got 48 trainees and apprentices throughout the wider career start program. Is that in that section or not?
No, that's the next one.
But that's okay.
But it certainly is impressive, and as a GM, that's one of the things I'm most proud of, that we, even if they don't stay, we're giving those young people the foundation to go and work while they're at uni, if they want to further their study or just have a good start in life. Really good thing to do.
Does that, like, say 2 years ago, where were we at with those sorts of numbers? Has it always been pretty high?
It's ebbed and flowed. There has been, it depends, to be honest, it depends on how well it's supported at the high school with the school-based trainees. At the high school, they have to shuffle the way that they deliver some of their other training to fit in with the VOC programs. But council has increased its actual traineeships and apprenticeships because of the government funding that's been recently released as well. So it's not just school-based, where in previous years, school-based was the highest number.
So it's drying up his funding, you keep finding it.
Well, yeah, we grab what we can, but yeah, it's very exciting.
Out there just in very specific pockets, depending on what the priorities of the government are
What electorate you're in.
and what electric.
Yeah. We've also, it's recently, well, this week, as recent as this week, we're talking about whether we need a qualified electrician on staff because we just can't get electricians when we need them. And I'm excited about that because that is another training position under that role where we're building up the capacity of our community, even if they don't stay. If we can have a regular traineeship or apprenticeship program underneath a qualified electrician on council, we will be generating tradies for the community as well. So it's just a twinkle in Justin's eye at the moment, the electrician role, but yeah, we'll certainly do some research and see if that's viable or not. But again, another training position and another succession plan community-wise.
I suppose you've always had access to them around here, but there's a few retiring now.
Yeah, it's just getting harder. They're having to come from Inverell a lot. And anytime there's a hold up in a job, it's generally because of trying to get someone in. So, yeah, hopefully we can get one on staff, and there we go.
And I agree how good this program is. And Leah and I actually did a presentation at Country Mayors at the end of last year. And Clarissa put that together for us, and Clarissa does an amazing job in it. And I think somewhere, and I keep saying this to Leah and Clarissa, that there is some local government award that we could get for this program running so well and us growing our own, that we're looking forward to nominate for in one of the local government awards. Because after Leah and I did the presentation, we were approached by quite a few councils saying, hey, how good is that? Because we're growing our own, you have other councils that have 60 vacancies where we don't have any. So I think that's something to be pretty proud of. So if we can find an award we don't need an award for it, but it's nice to be acknowledged for the hard work that the staff are putting in to run these programs.
It would actually be the ultimate for me if our program could be rolled out to other rural and remote councils. So we're going out to them and showing them where we're at now and informing them of all the mistakes we've made on the way, because I can see even Maureen doesn't do what we do in their council, and there's so much opportunity for rural councils. If we could be the shining light that rolls out our program to other rural councils, would be good too.
And we did a Zoom with Narrabri a few weeks ago because they wanted to know what we do and how we do it. So they've reached out because their general manager was there when we did the presentation. So one of their staff members reached out and spoke to Clarissa and I to see how we do it. And so it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
The cancellations, is the training paid for upfront? So
Yes.
there's no way to recruit those lost funds.
No.
And no way to kind of,
Make people accountable.
Yeah.
No.
that's unfortunate. Isn't
No. Yeah. And even quite often we pour a lot of money into people, they leave as soon as they're qualified. You just have to think of the value that they've contributed while they've been learning to your organisation, and then the value that they take to another organisation, and be proud that you've given them the foundations. That's the way I've had to look at it.
Yeah.
I really want to poke their eyes out sometimes, but when you get them to being fully qualified and they move on to bigger things, but yeah, you're building community capacity.
So good things that someone paying a sponsor.
Yeah, that's it.
Hope forward.
More questions for that report?
How much is the, I don't know, but, about that, but, how much we can reach out to the federal, the funding programs rather than losing from our own budget? They have a lot of funding programs where they actually, try to encourage the, what do you call, the trainees. And if we have a training programs and we can reach out to them to get some fundings, because they have lots and lots of funding programs. They try to get the trainees, particularly get some trade. So I don't know if we already have that.
We do. We have a relationship with the state and federal government, the training providers, or when I say training providers, the funding providers. So they've, Clarissa's quite proactive, and if there's a new announcement that there's another stream of funding, we'll try and make it fit with what we're trying to do at council. So quite often there's the flexibility, so you can tweak it a little bit, and you can send someone off for a different course that will still cover what they need to do if they do some additional that's fully funded.
Yeah, and then there are community colleges and the TAFE. They actually have a lot of trainees in their hands, and so they're doing the actual work of qualification and supervising them, but they need a work placement area quite long time, like they need 9 months of workplace area. So could we take the benefits of that as well?
Yes. Yep.
Instead of losing the trainee from here, we know that they are coming here for 9 months. They're coming here for 9 months. We know that, and we're not providing any funding for them. This is already provided for. We're just taking benefit of them, having not paying to the, what do you call the, to the training, not paying to the training because they're already being paid by them
Yes.
as in under their training program. Could we collaborate that in our program? So we know that we are losing, but we also know that we are not paying for it.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Robert. Any more questions? Okay. The officer's recommendation is that the report be received. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Sherman and Matt, the seconder. Councillor Gill. Those in favour say aye. Thank you. We move on to page 17, item 6.2, corporate and community services report. And this is done by Helen Thomas, our CFO. So any questions, Helen, you'll take?
So the first part of that report is that training stuff, and then you've got the social services and the community assets that I can take any questions on.
Page 17.
This is where I should say, yeah, it's great until 48 trainees.
All good. All good.
How did the holiday programs go for the more older?
The movie night at school, I know, went really well a couple of months ago. They had a stack of kids go to that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
The other programs, the holidays just passed, were really well done.
Yep.
Congratulations, Tori, for her work on that. I know at least for the trivia night, there was probably about 16 kids there.
yeah.
They had a good time. Thanks, Tim, for catering a few food. But yeah, it was really, really well done, really well organised, and it'd be nice to see more kids come along with those sorts of things in future.
We do try and get it out there as much as possible.
It's advertised well, that.
Yeah. And I think sometimes the difficulty is actually the kids getting to where they need to be.
Well, there was buses provided for some of them. I think because it's in the holidays, a lot of kids may have been away.
Just while we're on Helen's report, Helen and I were talking this morning about how we can condense it, or even if there's a need. Would you like to see less information on what actually happens in the children and youth services.
I actually like to see what's going on.
Numbers and then youth service and stuff.
And is that also then, they would obviously need to provide evidence of what they're doing with their funding. So does that provide for that?
Not so much this, it's just all the expenditure and income and stuff, and then we sign off on it, is all they require, but yeah, if you guys are happy with this much detail, we're happy to keep doing it.
But if it's something you skim over, it's probably useless and we can condense it. So whatever you, other than Councillor Bishton, who's just.
Doesn't want to hear about the new caterpillar.
Well, I
I understand.
Be condensed a bit. Does Susie do all this?
Combined, everybody,
She spent half a month writing a report. Or what?
well, it comes from all her services and she just pulls it together. So I
don't know. I think it could be a bit short of that bit, but
okay,
that's just.
noted.
I think maybe some, like the highlights of the month.
Mhm.
That's,
But we don't want to put them off for doing what they're doing because they're doing a good job and
yeah, absolutely.
they're doing a really good job. And it is interesting to see a lot of things in there that we might not know about if we didn't read it.
For instance, the library and the services that they provide there, I actually found that quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those stats are always good because that paints a big picture on just what the community is and how important, which on next Monday, it's important information for you to know why they're so valuable.
And it's in the stats of the social place.
Yeah, but then if you get approached by someone in the street, out in the villages, you know, I mean, I've read that. This is what we're doing, and that's the way I look at it.
Our biggest Facebook post was about our biosecurity officer, which is interesting. So 12,000. Actually, we get lucky that we had 4. It's still.
The data points come in the same.
I just don't understand how that works, but
Who shares?
yeah, some posts that I think are incredibly important and interesting, they just die. And others who I just think, why? How did that happen?
There's another post which goes through the Grey Nomad community. It's up the shares there.
I'd share it every time that way.
I mean, rehoming cat 6,300. I mean, you got to come up with something. So that was a cute cat. So it was a very nice purebred ragdoll.
And just pass on thanks to Terry Pittman for the Welcome to Warrior Elder brochure. She printed off a heap for me the other night for that Welcome to Warrior Elder night, and we got rid of half of them.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Really hard.
Yeah.
She's very passionate,
Thanks for
Terry.
Yeah.
Very, very passionate and does a good job.
Can I just add, we are now in the new building. Our Visitor Information Centre has moved over to the new building. Centrelink and Service New South Wales, we won't have Service New South Wales potentially after lunch today. They're starting to pull stuff out and get it moved on Friday. So hopefully come Tuesday next week, we will have Service New South Wales and Centrelink in the new building as well, which is very exciting to have everyone in one spot.
And there's lots of people going into the information centre. I suppose because we can see it like it's in the main street. You can see people, it's in the centre of the main street. You can see people walking in there, whereas maybe it's the same number as down there, but lots of visitors.
No, I think we've got an issue with our front doors. People don't seem to find our front doors just yet. So they're all going through where the open big sign is.
Oh,
So we will have to look at how we make the front doors a bit more prominent for people to come through.
Can't be any more prominent.
Yes, we've had a number of people try to get in the fire exit door and walk straight past the double automatic doors.
Okay.
But it's great because they're coming through the Vic and then coming into customer service. So
Is there any signage on the glass?
there's not yet. We were hoping to keep it nice and clean so that because it's great big automatic doors and thinking.
Yes, but as someone that is an accident waiting to happen, into glass
Yeah.
can be an issue. but if it's got like
So I don't know.
frosting on it.
Yeah, they put the frosting
The
on it.
frosting.
Oh, okay, that's
Yes. No, it's got frosting on it.
No, the little ones are just a whole bit of sauce in it.
No, the big strips along the middle. So you can actually see when you come up, you can see straight through and see customer service and everything in there. But I don't know whether we're going to put wide shotgun or we'll just get a big open sign to see.
It's that big, it looks like a wall glass, yeah.
So that's something we didn't anticipate, but it's helping the Vic out at the moment because everyone's going through the Vic to come in.
So next month when we see the report.
Yeah, the business will be high. We do have a lot of people coming to have a look too, though, so it is good. Great to see. People are actually interested.
And as you all have had invitations, the official opening is on the 15th of May. So. Any more questions? Okay. The officer's recommendation is that the report be received. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Crispin and a seconder, Councillor Gill. Those in favour say aye. Moving along, we have technical services report, which is item 6.3 on page 49. And Alex Eddy, our Director of Engineering, is happy to take questions on this report.
Yeah, a fairly unremarkable month, if such a thing can happen in the world of roads. I didn't take any questions.
I just have some thanks for some of the residents of Olive Terrace. Upgrading or replacement of that.
The water main replacement there really was the final nail in the coffin. How long that road could be band-aided together.
So if that water seepage has been occurring for some time, is that possibly why there were so many horrible holes in the road?
Oh, it's certainly a contributing factor, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Is that main break on page 60? Mains break 2, is that one of those? Water main broken?
It would have been, yes.
Yeah, that very often.
About 2 times in a month, this time of year.
The ground would be moving.
Yeah, it does. So when we've got fluctuations in soil moisture, you get changes, and especially with old AC pipes, they're very prone to breakage. So to answer your question more succinctly, this time of year, this sort of season, we are seeing more.
You must be due for.
Don't say that.
Couple of weeks.
They didn't do it for us.
The new board looking good, mate.
Very promising. So it's yielding 10.5 litres a second. There was some notes in the summary of the testing that said that it has the potential to affect the recharge of the sale yards bore, which makes a bit of sense. They're about 500 metres away from each other and each producing around the same or yielding around the same amount of water. But what we'd be able to do in a perfect world, if they do impact each other, we could just run one for 12 hours and the other for another 12 hours. That's 90% of the water that Warriata would need. If there was a small overlap in their running times, wouldn't really be a problem at all. We've got Crane Street Bore that can pick up some of the slack.
I was at a cattle sale the other day and we got lots of compliments about our truck wash. And it seemed to be going well with only one open.
So that's actually a really interesting observation. 131 trucks and 916 kilolitres for the month with one bay open. It seems that restricting it to one bay isn't really restricting its usage. And what we're seeing is trucks lined up waiting to go through. If it was the appetite of the council, we could reopen the second bay with a view of monitoring it for a month, seeing if the water usage does increase significantly. My gut feeling is that it won't, and it might just create a slightly happier trucking community because there won't be wait times to get a wash down.
If they're ever going to be busy, now's the time. We'll save the truck.
I think if we can reduce their wait time, it would be beneficial to reopen the second bay.
Charles, it is 120.
131.
7,000 litres, I watch.
I think I've ever driven past one with not something on it, whether it be a school bus or a traffic.
So for all the flack we copped in the community in the planning and construction facility, it really has probably more than just about any project the engineering department's undertaken. It really proved that it was something that was needed.
Yeah, there's a bit of discussion on Facebook at the moment about odour, but I stopped down there and spoke to the campers that have been there about 4 days, and they said it's fine. They don't have any issue.
We had an odd odour out of town on that same time that everyone commented to, so I don't know whether.
Just the dry weather, I think, was the sort of thing.
There's a saying in water treatment that people smell with their eyes, and I think if you were to drive past the lagoon that is closest to the highway when it's got an aerator in it, it doesn't smell. I drive past it every time I work in Warriota, and I deliberately stop, wind down the window, and see if there's a problem, because we've got a history there. It's worth checking out, but an aerator bubbling effluent from a truck wash is not a particularly pretty thing. Long term, it will be more or less obscured from the road by the trees that we planted, but I think it doesn't look especially pretty, and that may influence what people are smelling, especially if the campers who have been there for 4 nights haven't noticed. Well, the fact that they've been there for 4 nights probably answers the question anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, it's there.
It's not, I haven't been noticing significant, like I'm not walking out the back door and going, oh.
I notice the bird life likes it, so it can't be bad. When you drive
If there are
past,
ducks in there,
there's always these water birds. They can't be fussy.
Could be a tourist attraction, you think?
Swans in there, you'll be right.
I do think there's definite opportunity, perhaps down the track, not right at the moment, but to increase the usage fee and the council to be getting a bit more out of it.
I think
And at a car wash would be awesome.
Yes, well,
Car wash would be great, yes. Going back there, is there when you use the truck wash, so obviously they put money or something or use their card. Is there a water limit uses for what time and water?
there is not a limit, no. It's administered by a third-party company called Avdata, which is somewhat ubiquitous in the trucking industry. They've just got a fob. The driver will hit the fob on a button in the amenities building. That'll activate the pump system, and they can wash down. I think when they're finished, they hit the fob again to say that they're done. So no, there's no time limit, and I think it would probably be a little bit of a dangerous exercise putting a time limit on there, because it's not something that you want to do 3/4 of only to run out of water. But yes, it's all charged, all monitored, and
On the time base, like when they hit the fob, that should start the time.
yes, it does. It's charged by the minute, not by the litre.
All right. Yeah. So probably if we look at that to put a, not charged by liter, but the time limit, we know they have the hoses, how much they're doing it and all. And if we can increase the ability of that, have the kind of ability where we can monitor that water uses and the time, and then charge on basis of that, that might, the company has to say, whoever being charged, they might have to say to their driver, look, you're using that much and it's costing us a lot. Can you just be a bit more efficient? So it just doesn't come on us, and it comes on them.
Yes.
So that way we can.
And I'd say the fact that every time we've increased the price of the truck wash, and I think we've done it 4 or 5 times now, I haven't heard any negative feedback. I don't think there's been negative. Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't think anything's been presented to a meeting to say that representations have been made. So I think that there's definitely room to push that a little bit further.
We only
I don't think
increased
at the
it.
moment with the way, fuel prices are, it would be appropriate, but
No,
Yeah, I'm just more concerned about the water uses, you know, how much we can conserve by putting those kind of boundaries there. And that way we can,
I'll give you the tip, truck drivers don't spend money if they don't have to, so they're only cleaning what they have to clean and then they're going.
I think they're only using what they're using. We had when was the last increase? That was only 6 months ago, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't think it was even that long ago.
No.
It was after the,
We did it in
followed the fees and charges being adopted. We did a further increase.
it was in one of our recent council meetings.
If the amount of stock being moved at the moment, though, if you've got the capacity to open again another bay, it probably could be that. Really.
And it's natural that the water usage in Warwick come back as it's cold. And less sun, people aren't going to be watering their lawns as much as they otherwise would. So I think that for a month it's safe enough to trial the opening of 2 bays.
Yeah, if you want to.
It's going to dry up in another 2 months. It'll be nothing too fat. So, yeah.
Any more questions for Alex?
Broken record, mate, but the grader phones, how are they going? They're on target.
They've been ordered. That was on aware, yes.
Tasmans are going well.
The Tasmans are going well. There's for anybody who's buying one, if you buy a tray back, the factory reversing camera is disabled and you've got to fit an aftermarket one, which is the only real complaint we've had about them.
Just disabled.
Yeah. Councillor Collins, with the grades, just something else to add to that. We do have Iridium satellite tracking in our entire grader fleet presently. The Starlink is very much in progress. Not brushing that off. Just simply saying that at the moment we can look at where all our graders are, and all of them have duress buttons in them.
We have the devices, we're just waiting on installation.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually timed up timely. People were trying to get them around to the businesses when we had that outage in Wariota. They showed up that afternoon, a little bit late, but if it was to happen again the next day, then we'll be able to enable them and get them around.
Just adding to the Starlink thing, I had a Starlink fitted to my car in my council car, and I was coming back late the other night from Moree and it worked all the way. So it was really good because there was lots of pigs and there was lots of other wildlife and I could have been stranded. So thank you, Councillor Collins, for that.
Sorry, one more thing before I stop talking about roads. We are increasingly finding that there's not water available to do gravel roads maintenance. Typically, we will take from streams, which we've got a permit to do. When they dry up, we move to talking to farmers about sucking dams dry, and some of them, surprisingly, will often say, yeah, go and suck that dam dry, don't need it. Right now, that's not happening, and that's to be expected. We're not at a point now where we've got to pull up stumps or we've got to slow things down, but we've learnt through trying to that you cannot grade a road without moisture. All we do is put dust into potholes, and first couple of vehicles through, it's all gone, and we've graded 50 mil of gravel off the road. So we're going to be looking at doing some PR stuff. We haven't quite nailed the message yet, so that it's not all doom and gloom, but the intent of it will be twofold. And firstly is to just advise that, hey, this is happening, and if we haven't got water, we can't do roadworks. But secondly, saying if you are one of these farmers that's fortunate to have a bore or a dam that you don't need, be in touch, and so that might ultimately mean that your road gets prioritised simply because it might be one of the only ones we can do. Or it could just rain.
Can you order that?
I'll try.
When you run, where do you suppose
Got funding for
Okay, any more questions for Alex? Okay, the officer's recommendation is that the report be received. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Bishton, and a seconder, Councillor Crump. Those in favour say aye. We move on to page 58, item 6.5, business and strategy report. And we have Justin Helmuth, the Director of Business and Strategy, to take questions on this.
I'm going to have two things to talk about. They've already been mentioned now. The one was the funding, the other was the office. So I've covered both of those. But on the office part, we're technically in practical completion now, but there's a 12-month period where anything that goes wrong, there's some money set aside that we haven't given the final payment to Shire for, and that clock started ticking last week, I believe. So we can just take the money out of that off the final payment. We are going to submit a DA very shortly for this sign, the digital sign that's going out the front. It wasn't put in as digital sign. Original things we had to do a DA to do that, and I wasn't doing it until the building was done because there was enough hold-ups as there was. And the memorial hall will be painted that symbol. We were just working with the RSL to get the right colours to make sure that is right. Happy to take questions on anything else.
You haven't heard any more from Homes North?
Since that letter?
Yeah.
No, they're still waiting back on the expression of interest. They're pretty confident and they would like to start going to the next stage where there's a formal agreement in place for in case it does come through. So, but I'll probably bring that to one of the next two council meetings. Start on that process with the solicitor, I guess. But I want to hear from their expression of interest first before I put any investment in that.
Yeah.
And it says that we should hear. So, yeah.
Do they put in what type of housing in the expression of interest? Or?
So they got, because there's a split, they've got 99 units, so we're not just the only one in it. It's a group of 99 and it's got to be a 30-70 split of affordable and social. And there'll be some negotiation about what our split is. There's some they can do 100% just affordable and some that are going to be more geared towards social. They're going to try and do more affordable for us, but possibly 100%, but we don't know at this stage.
We can't highlight a category like aged or anything like that.
Yeah, well, one of the parts of the agreement is that we have a say in who goes in there, trying to target alleviating some of the workers, the shortage of workers for us. So that we'll try and put into the contract as well.
More questions for Justin?
The GM's residence, when's that due to be completed?
I believe it's the inside is done now. Have you?
Just a bit of tiling to do.
And then there's still some outside stuff that's got to be done. But yeah,
Very.
the final. And I think they had a few issues with getting the kitchen stuff ordered. But yeah, I was told it was supposed to be the end of April, but I haven't talked to Colin about it last week. So
Yeah, I think the retaining wall really needs to be fixed sooner than later. It's very unsafe. Looks like it's going to fall over, and I'd hate it to.
Yeah.
That
But it
one
will be-
outside, of course.
it will be habitable while they're doing it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Very good.
Something of big interest to me is weeds, and coming into the drought and everyone bringing hay in, our weed problem's probably going to escalate. Parthenian weed, I see we're getting quite a few sightings of that. Is it extreme or are they little sightings or serious weed, Parthenian weed?
Yeah, I think they spent a fair bit of time on it. We've got to meet what the LLS want us to, the requirements for that, and they've got so much of the Parthenian they've got to target, but yeah, they do seem to be getting more sightings in the last month. We're a little bit short at the moment while we've got our new biosecurity officer getting trained up in some things, but yeah, they're doing what they can essentially.
I guess they're being a big problem once this drought really hits with the weed.
Yeah,
That's the drivers.
Or you'll be having weeds come in that probably aren't normally here, hay and everything else.
a few bowl sightings, but yeah, I'll follow up and see if it seems to be worse than normal with them.
Hey, thank you. Any more questions for Justin? The officer's recommendation is that the report be received. Could I have a mover? It's Councillor Crispin and the seconder, Councillor Sherman. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Moving on to page 82, item 6.5, Council's investment report. And Thomas, our CFO, will take any questions.
I would like to just let you all know we did put out the tender for a new rates collection company, and although we still had time left with our previous contractor, we weren't getting the service we required, so that has been paid out, and we are rolling with the new people. And since then, we have had a lot of phone calls of people getting back on track with their rates payments and stuff. So I think it's going to be a good thing just to get people to talk to us. And I can't impress enough that if you have people calling you saying they're struggling, to just tell them to get in contact with us. We can make arrangements, we can defer stuff, we can turn off interest, we can do all that, but we have to talk to the people first. It's not an automatic thing. So if you do have anyone, please let them get in contact with us. We'll do our very best to help them out, especially at this point in time when things are getting tricky again.
Yeah. What's our lowest collection rate in 3 years? Probably a reflection of.
To come in. Yeah.
So is there someone in the office that is looking at that they are like 6 months behind?
Yep.
And just giving them a courtesy call and recording and then asking them if you can, come and see someone.
Yep.
And or just write a letter or something like that.
Yep. Constantly. We do that on a weekly basis. We're checking up, sending letters, making phone calls. Because once it gets to a point where it's overdue and it goes to an external party, that's when fees and stuff get to start getting charged. So that's why it's just really important for people to get in contact with us, because we put the note on the file and it doesn't go any further than that. And we do that all internally.
Because a lot of the time when we involve an external company, they buy that as a debt.
We don't do that.
Oh, that's what
The staff follow up on it all the time, Ravi, and
We don't
with
ever do that.
empathy and understanding.
Of course, we are a small, close community and then everyone is living in the same community. If we all come under attack with that, I suppose.
We've never done that and we won't ever do that.
Yeah.
We just pay for the service for them to send out offer letters and stuff if we haven't had contact. Because there are a lot of ratepayers that don't actually live in the Shire that have got properties that are either rented or just vacant, and they don't tend to like talking to us.
Yeah.
So
Water example, Helen. We do that with water as well, and we had. Do you want to talk about that?
which one are you talking about?
We had a lady who. Would you want to tell the story?
Yeah. So we had a lady who we haven't had a payment on a water account for over 2 years, and we have followed every process a number of times to get that bill paid and had zero communication. It got to the point where we had to put the water restrictor on. So the guys went and instantly we got a barrage of emails and phone calls saying that we have no right to do it. So she hadn't, unfortunately, the week before we send those last letters as registered mail so that we know people have collected them. We had proof that mail had been collected, and we still got nothing. And then after the water restrictor went on, the bill was paid in full 2 days later. So we try everything we possibly can, but unfortunately, sometimes to get people to act, you've got to act first. And it's just got to be at a point before it gets to that.
They're often the people.
That's fair enough.
Because it's not fair on the people in the community who are paying their water bills that other people are going years without just refusing to pay anything.
You paid interest and all that.
Yeah. And that's the problem. If you don't contact us, the interest does accrue. Whereas if you go on a payment arrangement and you're paying what you can and it gets reviewed all the time, we turn the interest off. So
Not that it would be a huge help, but I have noticed that there are some councils that do reminders on social media saying rates are
you can
due
do that.
or water bills are due this week. Would it be helpful?
Interest is how many hits that gets.
No,
It would be, yeah.
we can absolutely do. We've also changed our printing provider. So when the next lot, I'm not sure whether people have received, I haven't been in the mailbox, my own mailbox yet to get the last instalment notices, but they've all changed, we've changed print houses as well. So you'll actually be able to register through them and put your, once you verify who you are, you can put your assessment number and actually see your rates notice and what's owing online, which I think will be very helpful too. And then the next step will be able to be paying it online.
Can you get them emailed instead of mail?
You absolutely can.
Yep, I've decided.
All right.
Can't lose them then.
I just don't know if I paid one.
Any more questions for Helen?
Man, I'd like to refer you to page 83. There's been a big lift in total cash holdings of about 5 mil.
Yes, we've had money come in from, we had roads money come in. I think it's now $3 million wasn't it, over the 3 payments.
Last recovery stuff.
Yeah.
That's 6 all told.
We're still waiting on more to come in, and Alex does have a lot of money to spend before.
I which I haven't spent it yet.
It's going to buy some gravers.
Boys' toys.
That way you can get some good tyres.
Do you?
Have we heard any run that?
And make sure that they are EVs, just in case the fuel price is there.
That would be interesting.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, the officer's recommendation is that March 2026 monthly investment and rates collection report be received. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Crump and Councillor Wilmot. Those in favour say aye. Carried. Okay, we move on to item 6.6, Murray Darling Basin Plan Review on page 11. Page 85. Justin Helmuth, Director of Business and Strategy, will take questions.
This was just a letter as a that we put as a broader submission with other councils in the area. I think Councillor Coleman had gone to a meeting,
B-Rock.
the VROC meeting, and other councils were putting a submission in. So Rhiannon O'Brien, our environmental officer, and myself, we put forward a submission to support it. Essentially, there's vague reference in the Murray-Darling Basin Review that our Gwydir surface water catchment would have to look at changes to the water that's taken out of the system, and it doesn't say if it's going to happen, how much, or anything like that. So it's pretty much relaying those concerns and saying that could hurt a community like ours, and that we should look at other ways to, because it's about the bird life in some of the wetlands, mainly towards Moree or on the other side of Moree, that I think is the reason for that, and that there's other ways that we could address that without having to reduce our water.
Well done. Did it well. Closed Friday, I think. So
Very well, it was good.
There was a quick turnaround on that one. Why it didn't come beforehand. I had to get it in on the Friday. Found out Wednesday. So yeah.
Any more questions for Justin? Okay, the officer's recommendation is that the report be noted. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Collins and seconder, Councillor Sherman. Those in favour say aye. Okay, we move on to page 89, which is item 6.7, the street renaming eastern portion of White Street in Gwydir. And Justin Helmuth, the Director of Business and Strategy, will take.
So this one was a bit of amateur hour on my behalf, but it's come back. We tried to get it in quickly into the meeting. This was 2 meetings ago. There was renaming of that portion of White Street because of a subdivision, which we managed has been complete anyway, because we sent a letter to saying, look, we're working on it and the addressing will be sorted. but they didn't like East White Street. They don't like it being prefixed, the geographical names board that is, and we would essentially reject the name. So I asked our GIS officer to go to the Historical Society and have them do something a bit more meaningful with a bit more time. And Baker Street and Hartwell Street were the two that came out, referencing Herb Baker, who I think set up the sawmill in Gwydir, and the other one being John Hartwell, who there was a pub apparently called the Bushman's Arms, I think it was, on the other side of the bridge in Gwydir as well. And yeah, and it's just some historical context there. And if no one's real fond of those names, so there's old parish maps too that have some now defunct street names like Galloway Street and things like that are over there as well. But essentially to change the name, we need an endorsement on one of those. So
I personally like the name Baker Street because I remember, the sawmill being there. Obviously not owned by the person you're talking about, but obviously a son or whatever, but it was Rossi Baker, and yeah, that was on the corner there. That was big sawmill. That's
That's my thinking as well. I liked his connection to Kira.
Yeah.
Just
And he provided a lot of timber around the area for people to build houses and employed quite a few people.
a few kudos to Mel. They found a lot of this as well. We went to the Historical Society of Mel. He's very good at finding things like this as well.
The current owner of the mill likes Baker Street, he told me this morning.
Okay.
And there's also a really good song. Geographic.
So what's everybody's thoughts?
Is there any survey done with the people?
We've tried to reach out and we didn't get any response. We've tried by email and phone. There's one house there. I don't think the owner lives nearby, and the other one's trying to sell. So the two houses that it affects. Yeah, we've tried to reach out. We've got no response that I'm aware of anyway.
I'll second your Baker motion.
And the seed container deposit ticket.
Is you okay with it?
Yeah.
No. Councillor Collins, yeah.
Second.
Okay. Kristen.
Just a side note, has a policy been made about naming things we've talked about before?
Work in progress. Yes, we've started. It was more complex than we thought. Yes.
To get this in.
And I can understand where Justin was coming from when they came back and said can't have them like East.
We've got East Street and Bingara.
Yeah, because it becomes a confusion, and there was, and with emergency services like ambulances, when the streets are changed, I know years ago we had a mix up with an ambulance going to Gwydir Street going to Gwydir Terrace instead of Gwydir Street. And so we have to be careful with that. Okay, so the officer's recommendation is that council endorses Baker Street as the proposed name for the renaming of the eastern portion of White Street, Bingara, for submission of the Geographical Names Board of New South Wales. Collins and Kristen. Need that. Thank you. Those in favour say aye. Okay, we now move on to councillors' reports. So we'll start with Councillor Crump.
Only one from me. There was a private party held at the Roxy recently. Just a request, there was a legally blind man that was there, the back step leading from the courtyard to the toilets. If there could be some reflectors or some sort of disability assistance to avoid falls going up that back step.
Anything else?
That was it.
Councillor Collins.
The creek first. They've asked if we can put in our budget for 2 picnic type tables to go under the tree opposite the shop, and also a bin if possible. And the shop are happy to help to clean it, maintain it. They just need it to be put there. You're getting a bit more tourism, and it's a nice little shady spot to go and have a famous Cropper Creek hamburger and a cup of tea.
Fresh sandwich.
I don't know if you all received Ingra now, the Nick Hutton letter.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing that up. Did you all see it? Or yeah, so just bringing that up as he asked me to do, or all of us to do.
What was that? I didn't see.
It's in regards to the living classroom and potential progression and how it's run and how we go forward.
Yeah, well, that was going to be one of my questions. We were up to after the workshops we had. Workshop last December.
Carmen's working on that, isn't she? Carmen's putting that all together.
Someone might be able to explain it better than me, but at least I brought it up to attention. The next street sign, I don't know if I've got it right, but I think he told me Finch Street. We come off the bridge from the Warrior Elder end, the big bridge, the Finch Street sign is faded. Or is fading, or it's for tourism. Warrior Elder, I want to acknowledge the opening of the op shop and all the work that people have put into that. It's looking amazing, and I'm sure it'll be a great asset to the town and district. So well done, and I know Leo, you've had a lot to do with that, so thank you for all you've done with that. Lots of positive comments.
Few spots.
I see there's lots of clothing and whatever in there. So
Almost sick of the sight of it.
what's the best way to fold a shirt or
Get someone else to do it.
That's it.
So much work goes into these things,
Yeah.
and it's all, as you said, volunteer run, and yeah, and people are very proud of it. So,
And it's already brought significant social benefits just to see people that are volunteering and coming in, people that I've never had a conversation with. Yeah, that's just an added benefit. Very exciting.
Yeah, no, well done. I tracked a few flagpole questions occasionally. The green space, I know we're getting one put in there, aren't we? A permanent flagpole.
Yeah, it's still coming. We thought it was coming yesterday. I'm not sure if it has. Yeah, we borrowed one for the exact ceremony.
It's a singular pole, is it?
Yes.
No reason.
Has it got a light on it or something? It's got a light on it. Yeah.
15 Grogjean Road is one that someone's going to have to teach me how to put submissions into our works.
We will.
I don't know how to do it, but it'll say bringing these sorts of things up. 15 Grogjean Road, the gutter's totally blocked over. I know, overgrown with grass and full of dirt. The people that live out the front of it, behind it, they're very garden proud and house proud, but they're just too elderly now to clean it out. So if we could deal with that, that'd be great.
We can.
And the last one, gardens in the approach to Warrior Elder are in dire need of I know it's dry, but there's plenty of plants out there that are water efficient. And having gone through lots of towns in the last few weeks, we're certainly not up near the top when it comes to gardens in the approach to town.
Right.
That's me for this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Councillor Preston.
First, thanks, Alex, for dealing with the things I brought up during the week just directly. The only thing that I had was somebody was asking if it would be possible to have extra PowerPoints put in basketball court post just for events, because they had to have PowerPoint or PowerPoint running everywhere. And it became,
For the markets.
yeah.
For the covenant area, right?
Yeah.
Right over.
There was only a couple of points available, and they needed a few places that needed power, so they had them very creatively spread out.
Look into it.
Thank you.
Congratulations to those markets.
Oh, yeah.
All holders, because that was a brilliant lot of big crowd.
Should we send them a letter or something? I reckon it was a great little initiative.
It was
Yeah.
bigger than they had a meeting with Lynn and Jason the other day.
No,
They're planning on doing it every year now.
That's what brings that up. They had a few of them and the photographer lady, and it all sort of come together and it was marketed right.
And it was all voluntary again. Yeah. Councillor Gill, have you got anything you'd like to raise?
Yeah, a couple of things, particularly the memorial hall closed and, for the reviewing of the structures and all that stuff. There's a lot of walking hard in the street and, I sit in the street most of the day, so it's just a big thing that people bring all their kind of concerns. And they're talking about now we don't have, they had some sort of dancing classes and all that there and some other things and the Anzac service as well. So even though that was provided out, that was good, but so they have a bit of concern that how soon that'll be. I don't have any answer for that, so I can give any answer for that. So that's the one thing.
So a few days before Anzac Day, the geotech guys came out on site to do an assessment, and we're waiting on the report back for that to tell us how bad it is really and what we've got to do to fix it. So we just don't know yet where it's up to until that report comes back.
It's not being used.
The back, the kitchen and that part can be out the back because it's a separate roof line, but just if something happened.
Even looking at from the back, there's a big crack on in the back as well. It's brick, there's a lot.
Yeah.
It's quite a big crack there as well.
The concern is how quickly it's gotten bigger because it's been there for a while, but it's gotten, and it's obviously, the ground's dried up and shifted.
Do you have any significant movement? Because McGregor's had the same.
Yeah.
McGregor's had the same, so did the buildings on this side of the hall. They were resin injected and
so I saw that happening.
rectified. The risk with taking an approach to say we're going to lift it with resin injection without understanding what the geomechanics are underneath the building is that we might do a fix that could either need revisiting or potentially cause more damage than good if we're dealing with a significant shrink swell kind of issue with black soil.
In anticipation, we expect whatever we have to do is going to be expensive, and we've already put out feelers for what funding there may be around to assist us, and there's just nothing, which is a bit of a concern. I imagine it's going to have a significant impact on our budget.
It's not any kind of heritage or anything.
No, we did look at funding for public halls and nothing that we can find. But we did speak to Brendan Moylan about it this week, and he said as soon as we find out what's needed and what's involved to come to him and he will make representation, but he certainly couldn't promise anything. But it is, whatever we have to do there is going to be substantial, but it's a significant building. So watch this space.
And the second thing is there is another concern. I know that's an unnecessary for me personally. I think because I'm here and I know everyone's work but moving of the admin building from here to Bingra, I don't know why that concern is between Bingra and Warrior. I don't understand it, but so there's people they concerned that how will that affect the services here with the councils here. So, I've been told to bring it up, and so I've been due diligent to do that. So
It's not going to affect, nothing is different from, we've just got a new building in the south end, but the services are all staying the same.
And no staff have been moved other than Alex will be working a couple of days in Bingra and a couple of days in Warrior, sharing it around, but no other staff or services have been moved.
Everything's still the same. We've just got a new building.
Essentially a replacement.
yeah, so could this be a suggestion that we can post that on to just to assure the people in Bingra and in for us it's the same, but just to put a notice or something so that everyone knows that it's not.
bring that up at the community meetings. It was brought up at the community meetings all along, and it was decided back when we amalgamated 22 years ago, 24 years ago, that the south end would have the major admin building and the north end would have the works depot, and nothing has changed from that in that time. And as we said, we did bring it up and we will put it up again, but yeah, nothing has changed. The only thing is we will have Alex a couple of days in the south end of the Shire at Bingra.
Look out at Ingra.
But
There's
otherwise, we've got a
No
new.
rent for everyone.
There's no capacity to fit the rent. The people that are housed in this building, there's not capacity for them.
I
to
know,
fit in.
I've seen that, but
Yeah.
that's what they talk about.
Yeah.
It's nice to bring, and then, some people just want accountability, the other want transparency, it's a both, they're
Yes.
both different and you can't satisfy everyone about it.
Definitely will do some
Yeah.
post and I'll pop it in the GM's report and
Yeah.
Gwydir News.
And we also note our meetings. So it's
Yeah, we
Yes,
still
yeah. I
having.
mean, it's not for us, but it's for
Mm.
people that, and when they hear about these things and they can see for themselves, then they don't, but there's a lot many Christians, when you stand on the street and they just keep hammering you with the same question over and over again.
Old fashioned rivalry.
Yeah.
And it's the same as Ravi. I had a comment made that we have a new council chambers for 6 meetings a year, but it's all part of it. Like, we won't change our meetings. We'll still alternate the meetings between each facility, so that will be the same. We'll put it up just so you can reassure these people that everything will stay the same. Thank you. Anything else? That's it. Councillor Wilmot.
John, I'm just going to say thank you for the opportunity to represent at North Star on Anzac Day. It was an absolute honour to be a part of their service. It was such a great community service.
Thank you for going at short notice.
That's all right. I just wanted to report on Chamber of Commerce that at our AGM in March, the existing executive was re-elected, which is myself, Laura Cush as secretary, and Gwydir Johnson as treasurer. Fireman came along, which was lovely to outline council's tourism ideas and thoughts and plans, which was really much appreciated. So it's given Chamber some ideas and they're off to the drawing board. Well, Laura and Wendy are off to the drawing board.
Very good. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Councillor Sherman.
I just had some questions about failing pavement of the
Warrior Road.
to Warriella.
Yep. So we're monitoring it. It's going to require an extensive rehabilitation. By extensive, I mean we're going to have to go down and dig out some of the subgrade where there's been failure in stuff 600, 800 millimetres below the surface level. Don't want to go in there and just patch out what's damaged at present if it's going to grow a little bit. So it's most certainly a job that's on our radar. We've got Joe Luckett looking after that, monitoring with our dedicated Google Street View car, our racket system that we've got. So certainly not something we've forgotten about. Very much in the public eye, and something that we need to fix. And we still have the retention from the contract for the heavy patching that was on top of that. So there's a little bit of to and fro happening with the contractor as well.
Anything else? Councillor Bishton.
Well, I've got a few in the private section, but the parking in Bingra has been a bit of a blow up recently, and I've had a few business actually. I think outside IGA, for example, there's now 3. There's 2, and there's one on the side street, disables. But that probably takes up about 6 car parks. And obviously, there's been a bit of talk about can we do lines. Mayor tells me that could cost up to $40,000, and it's also state government approval. But it is a lot more congested than it used to be. And is that something we can look at? I mean, as much as you want to shoot the messenger, wherever he was, he did ring me actually. Yeah, I think it's probably not a bad idea. What's the thoughts from the management?
I think that if we're going to line mark it, there's no point line marking it if we're not going to police it. And I don't know, Justin will comment, but whether our rangers have got the resources to be patrolling up and down Maitland Street, putting chalk marks on tyres all day. You've only got to drive to somewhere where there is line marking to see how bad the discipline is in spite of line marking in a lot of locations.
I would think it's just common sense. If I see lines there, I try to get inside them.
Well,
It doesn't always work, but
that's right, and some people are better at it than others. In terms of ongoing policing, I don't know what the.
It would be tough, and that would be step one, and then there'd be more parking metering elsewhere in the Shire that keeps coming up.
yeah, I don't think it should be policed. I just think it should be done. I think that needs to be done myself, but
If you do it, do you have to police it? Like,
You have to police it.
yeah, that's.
no, it's just
You're right.
no, it's just
It'll
common
be the
sense.
expectation.
Yeah, the next thing we would be having people say, oh, such and such isn't parking in the lines.
That would probably be me.
It is a hard one.
And John sometimes.
Oh, I see the wooden veranda posts have been through. Look, I just think it's something we could do, but you know, what about just outside the busy areas like IGA and maybe the Imperial?
How about I get a quotation with all our line markings done externally, bar very minor stuff. I'll get a quotation to do Maitland Street from the Imperial down past the bakery, and I'll bring that back to a meeting so we can talk in proper dollar terms.
Could you start with a more almost like funny social media post about how important it is to park
I think etiquette.
better? Like, I don't know.
Have a worse backboard where people could take photos of their mate's car.
I wouldn't necessarily go like that, but just encouraging people to park better. It's a low cost.
We can have a bit of fun with that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a low cost start, and then if nothing changes, then you look at other options.
I'd wear the suit, Percy, the parking.
Peanuts.
For me to know, but I don't think you should permit police. I just think
I'm not policing. We are very small Shire, so. You know, I'm not putting the number of hours you can park there and stuff like that unless.
it'd be good to see what the rest of the public think.
It is nice to see that suddenly, after all these years, we're busy. That is one way of looking at it. You know, the Shire is now busy and people are saying, we've been spoilt for years. We could just pull up in front of a shop and run in and get milk and bread and there was no one else. But it's actually good for the businesses that people are fighting for car parks now, and you drive around and you can't park in front of the business. So it's
Clearly,
a positive.
Clearly, the high petrol prices aren't stopping people from driving around.
No, it's a pretty bit
Well, it might
positive.
stop them going in Burrell. It's stopping them from going to
Yeah.
in Burrell. It's because I have an issue of car park full and trolley availability at the moment over the last 4 weeks.
And how good is that?
I tell you what else
Right.
was my biggest takeaway from that post, which annoyed me, was the significant support the council has in the community. Like the way that was really rewarding to read. You know, that we have some.
Right, it's lots of support.
It hasn't always been the case. I'm actually going to get on the bandwagon if there's a council bashing session, but there was a lovely balance of support.
Visually, it does make the main street look really nice though with the line marking, but it's got to be cost effective as well.
Oh, we've got a proper price on it.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Okay.
Will
And
doing the, what do you call those 45 degrees hard increase the space? Does that? It doesn't.
No. Well, only does if everybody's parking. No, it won't. The amount of space is the amount of space. So people can only park as close to each other as they like. We could certainly condense car parks to quite a narrow width. But then we'll have complaints about people not being able to get out of cars.
And everybody's got bigger cars now, like
Yeah.
in the bush, everyone's got four-wheel drives. And I don't know whether you notice if you know, when we go to Sydney for conferences or something, and if we're in a big vehicle, they don't make car parks now for bigger vehicles. So that you've got to allow for when you do the line marking, it could actually give you less room because now we have to allow with each car park that a lot of people have a Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even obviously, when IGA did the disabled spot with council in the car park and council arranged the line marking. And I commented to the line markers that the spaces were smaller because we picked up an extra park on either side. And they just laughed and said they're still bigger than what we do in Sydney.
There you go.
And we put 2 wheel stops at the front section so that would prevent people hitting the hardy plank section of the butchery. And we did those in conjunction with Jamie, came out and told us where to place them. Vehicles are still hitting the building because vehicles are larger.
Yeah. And it is quite disheartening to read people that wrote, why should we have that many disabled car parks? Well, we have lots of ageing population in both communities, and they deserve the right to be able to have time, like have a space to be able to get in and out of their cars.
But I think unfortunately, so many people only think of people in wheelchairs.
Yes, exactly. Instead of, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the ratio is, but obviously to me it seemed a bit heavy when they put them in when I understood.
We had a traffic meeting going back.
Yeah, it's a committee that does all that.
Yeah, but there was lots of research putting in it to do those. We didn't just go and put disabled car parks there because we thought that was right. There was lots of research that went into doing that and providing the space for the elderly, which is not, as Rachel said, it's not just people that have a wheelchair. It's someone that might get out of the car and have a walking stick and
we
really ill.
We hope to provide another one in front of the council building. That was always in the plan as well.
Plus there's a new public car park behind the council building.
The council car park behind the council building.
So Alex will look into that and get back to us. Any more, Councillor Bishop?
Yeah, well, just with the building, admin building, is there any way we can have a look at like a wrap-up report of the cost, like budget versus where it ended up? I know there was only a little bit of overrun. I probably had more overrun on my cabin than they did. But, you know, obviously things like electricity, you weren't budgeting on that, but that's completely unavoidable. Just be good to get the full picture of it. And I don't know if you publicly make this available, but what, I mean, that facade area that we kept because of the RSL hall, I mean, that maketh the building, but what did that cost? Because I reckon it cost a bit.
We can quantify that.
Yeah.
Just, and I don't know if we need to, that needs to be public, but it couldn't hurt.
While we're talking about the costing of the building, I'd like to acknowledge the staff and the builders that were involved in that. And as you all know, it's been a project that was started with past council and has followed on to everyone in this room to be part of. But I think that's something we have to be really proud of. We took Brendan Moylan through on Tuesday, and they were, him and his staff members was very impressed, like with what we have done, and it's been a big achievement this day and age to go less than 1% over budget when you look at, and they won't mind me saying, though, I went to an opening of a hall in Moree, a refurbishment of a hall in Moree, and it's absolutely beautiful. But for a refurbishment, it cost way more than our whole building cost that staffs 32 people. So I think that's something that we can all hold our head high.
Yeah, featured, we should be so.
Yeah, and yeah, it because of the staff we have and the the builders as well, but the staff we have, we should be very proud, and thank you.
I guess we got to thank Leah and Carmen for coming to the Welcome to Warrielda night the other night. We had a good night. We had about 30 people there, and 8 of them were people that had moved to the town in the last 3 or 4 months. And the stories that they had as to why they picked our Shire and Warrielda were very nice to hear.
Mm.
They were great, and they were people that had come from everywhere. One literally bought a house. I put an offer on a house the day of the Welcome to Warrielda, and they just picked Warrielda because they stopped here one day for a hamburger and walked down the street and fell in love with it, they said. So that was nice. And as a result, 2 people are going to be volunteer drivers for taking people to Tamworth or Inverell for doctors. And one's joining the men's shed and one's joining Rotary. And there's lots of, flow-on effects from having it. So thank you for coming along.
I think, and I don't know if it's my place or not, but that was a very good thing to attend. And I think the bowling club and you particularly need to be congratulated on the initiative. It wasn't just a welcome to Warrielda, it was an information night, and the people you pulled together, I mean, it was very good, very well done. So if you haven't had that feedback, it's a credit to you.
A lot of people that have been here for years have learnt things they didn't know about, which was great too. And I can't believe I forgot the cooler tire track to pull. I apologise, but I have to bring it up because I've been on the phone about it for a little while this week, and I'm not passing judgment either way, but I just want it public that I've brought it up on behalf of the people that wanted me to bring it up. And if someone wants to explain it better than I, they can go for it, but give a little debrief of what I know, but I think you might know more than I.
So there was a bit of toing and froing. Obviously, the requirements for the insurance are getting heavier. There's been a few incidents in particular that make it a bit heavier. I think it was one of those things where I just think they were a bit frustrated with the process. And then there were some requirements that we would have helped with. We weren't aware that it was going to be pulled before it happened. We reached out yesterday and said that we were willing to help them get the risk assessment and all the documentation over the line, but they'd already made the call. So unfortunately, I think it was too late to reinstate it, but going forward next year, we'll definitely be making sure, and with our other community events as well that are on our property or we have any involvement with, that we'll be making sure that we can help them get that over the line, because it's not going away, unfortunately. If there is any incident happening, there needs to be demonstration that the risk is thought of and controls are put in place. But it is quite a burden to these community groups, and it's a shame because it stops things like this going ahead. And I think it was just that final straw, unfortunately, and they felt the need to pull it. And we will make sure it doesn't happen again next year, essentially.
Because it involves staff, we'll talk about it more confidential if you're comfortable with that.
And I went to, so did Scott. I can't remember who else was there. Sorry. We went to that seminar with statewide insurance company, and it was just before the Bingra show, I think, because the Bingra show had something pulled too. And it's ridiculous. It's sad what is involved with insurances now and what they put upon us, but it's the world we live in now, which is, it's really sad what has to happen and who's liable and how we're all liable now for a council, anything that's on council ground. And even if we sponsor it, isn't it? Any involvement.
And this is a section 355 in particular that means that there's definitely council liability involved, but anyone who uses our events, and at the moment there is a bit of an inequality with what is expected from some community groups and others, and that we're trying to rein back in as well, which I think is another frustration. But I think we probably need to go back and talk a bit deeper with our insurers too about what is and isn't acceptable, because it seems to change a little bit based on the event, and it's hard to get any clarity around it. And I think there is that fear mongering a little bit, particularly coming from the underwriters back to statewide, and that's been a big catalyst for the ramp up. And they've had a few events that have happened recently that they're still not sure of the outcome of, and that's unfortunately means that they're going, you need everything in place for this to go ahead or you're not covered, which is what happened with the barrel racing in Bingara as well. Unfortunately, they just would not cover it whatsoever after what had happened at Volca, and there's no outcome on that yet. And Safe Work also weren't giving us any advice, clear advice now. I think they've put out a code of practice now about it, but at the time they hadn't. But I think they want now not to council just to be listed as an interested party. They want the event listed as well. Like when you're going out to get insurance, you should be covered for anything you're participating in. That it should just be these are the types of activities we want to undertake for this insurance, and we managed to get that way for this event, but it was just a bit too little too late, and I think we need to go back and push it against that, because I think it's unreasonable.
Yeah, it is unreasonable. Like you buy insurance in case of an accident, and then they put restriction on that. There shouldn't be any accident. So why are we paying insurance for? I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's just totally unreasonable on that. And people have to push back. All right, we're not going to buy insurance. We'll take the risk. And that, that's what people are doing. It like it's 33% decline in people buying home insurance, just home insurance. I'm not talking about the other ones outside. Just 33% decline. That is big.
It's massive.
I mean, because what they're saying is about the accidents. Like it said, that's why we're buying the insurance. There's no one in their right mind going to burn their own house. You can get the insurance. So they are pretty unreasonable, and they need a pushback for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a good relationship with statewide. It's their underwriters that are pushing a lot of this as well, and I think they're trying to absolve themselves of more payouts essentially, and of course they're going to. That's their industry, but it's not right.
Definitely not laying blame on either side, but I think we've got learnings from it, and I think going forward we don't have a lot of events in the community anyway, particularly in Fillatai. Even if we send letters out to events that we know of, promoting our events officer, they can help. I'm not saying they didn't know about it, but everywhere in the Shire, so it doesn't happen again. I'd hate to see any other event cancelled.
I know Barra were very upset. Their mud rally thing was sort of canned. I don't know whether it was insurance and more funding, but obviously TRC said. But those events are so important to those little towns. So.
Yeah, and they've got the same insurance as we do. And it would have been the exact same thing all around, because it is the rally stuff. The rally, anything to do with vehicles, they're walking out.
Just got a big flow-on effect. The new publicans literally bought the business in the last month, and that was going to be one of his biggest events of the year. So he's lost that, and we're going to a drought. So he'd be a bit nervous, I'd say.
And as long as we can, make our apology and they know that it's not us, and we're happy to work with them. And
so I think that's important that you guys, that if you do hear those things, tell them to get in contact with us. We have the resources. We just need people to reach out if they are having trouble with those sorts of things, and we can.
Yeah, so it's on us too to send a letter out to them and let them know we have an events officer. Because we've only got so many events in the Shire. Some of them have got hundreds. And send a letter to them saying that we have got these resources to assist you going forward. Because of the world of liability and insurances, we need to do things properly. Otherwise, it comes back to bite us as well as them.
And we can get those letters out. Thank you, Councillor Collins. Was there any more councillor reports? I've only got one. Oh, I've got a good news story. I had someone pull me up in the street saying how good it was with our new bus shelter out at Gwydir, and how that all cleaned up is being, good for the kids and for the school bus driver, and that was a nice compliment. I went out to the Horton for their Anzac service. And it was beautiful. They've got a really nice memorial out there, and there was about 70 people out there, so that was really nice. And then followed up with the luncheon and the Anzac service at Bingra, and with all these Anzac Day memorials and services and that, there's a lot of work that goes into them from the committees, all volunteer work. Like we look at all these, we take it for granted, all these volunteers that with all these committees. And when you're in a bigger city, like if you're in Sydney, it just doesn't happen. So yeah, these volunteers need commending because the work that they put into all these sorts of things. But my only other thing is and this is partly the nurse in me or the mother in me or the whatever you like to say, I went to an exercise class and something came up about Red Bull, and a person said to me, oh, I can have up to 10 a day. And I nearly had a heart attack. And I nicely told them that they will end up having a heart attack and could we do something and cut down. They took it, they laughed, but they did take that very seriously and realised and didn't realise the effect. That followed on where we were at that class and some outdoor staff were there and they were having energy drinks for breakfast. And I approached Alex and said, I'm going to do a mayoral challenge because these energy drinks are dangerous. To me, they should be off the market because I, as a nurse, have seen many people with pacemakers and heart problems and people drink them because they like the taste, etc., etc. So I'm going to do a mayoral challenge, and I've spoken with the executive staff and at great lengths to Alex of how we're going to do this. So watch this space. I'm going to put a letter out to our staff and whoever wants to join in, and a way of, either cutting back or quitting these, dobbing your mate, and how you want to help them to, stop them having heart attacks and all those sorts of things. And at the end of it, we'll have, whether it be 6 months, 3 months, whatever, we'll have a barbecue and a get together to celebrate like them achieving something, because it is another addiction. And it's just a way of keeping everyone healthy. And so we might be able to come up with some other ideas how we can support staff in other ways, helping them keep healthy and
Keep the can, not the bucket.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes. And I did have somebody approach me after even talking to Alex to say, they rang me about something else, and it was a staff member, and said, oh, Tip, I've been really, really sick. I've been to hospital with heart palpitations because I wanted to lose weight and I was drinking and I needed some energy, and I was drinking lots of energy drinks and I became really sick. So that was a staff member coming and saying it has happened. So, so that's what I'm planning on doing. Anyone else that would like to be on board and see that roll out? Otherwise,
It should be soft drinks, and then they got to the diet soft drinks, which are meant to be better for you, and the soft drink consumption's fallen, and energy drinks are rampant. We're worse off.
Yeah, and I did have this is going back years ago when Red Bull first came out, and that's another thing. It's on the staff of the small hospitals, and a person came into the Bingra hospital and they were 38 and had a heart attack, and it was put down to drinking lots of Red Bulls.
So it's another take on Red Bull gives you wings.
Mm.
Oh, it's also good.
So
Plus you have the mortgage on extreme sports around the world, which makes it very hard for the young people not to.
That's it. I mean, I had to with a staff member. She didn't grasp that the amount of energy drinks she was drinking in a day were detrimental to her health. And she has cut back to 500 ml can a day and seen a big improvement in her health.
Yeah, I did it with my butchers years ago, and it's probably the mother or the nurse coming out of me. But anyway, if it works,
I know about the other brands, but Red Bull clearly state the maximum consumption on their cans, but people don't read it.
Yeah. And people like to taste.
It's small, everything's small, I know.
Just like
So, okay, so we might have morning tea and go into confidential items straight after morning tea. Yeah. Okay, so everyone like to break for morning tea and then we will what's that? Whole with the press and public excluded to allow consideration of the listed items as provided for under section 10A 2A of the Local Government Act 1993 on the grounds the report contains personal matters concerning particular individuals other than councillors. The meeting be open to the public at 1:07 p.m. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Crispin and Councillor Gill. Those in favour say aye. I'll hand over to our General Manager to read out.
Lady Mayor and councillors, I have the following recommendations from Committee of the Whole. Item 1.1, Confidential Organisation Community Services Report. Moved that the report be noted. Item 1.2, offer to purchase 25 to 27 Maitland Street, Bingo. Move that council receive and note the report regarding the unsolicited approach by the vendor to offer a sale property at 25 to 27 Maitland Street. That council receive and note the unsolicited offer and advise the property owner that council does not wish to progress the matter. Further, that Bingo Op Shop is a section 355 committee of council, and as a result, council will support the op shop should any need arise in the future due to change of ownership. Item 1.3, GWY _2026 _T04, supply and delivery of road base and binder material for stabilisation work. The recommendation from the committee is that council adopt a list of recognised contractors to be invited to quote for the proposed supply and delivery of road base and binder material for stabilisation works as a panel contract comprising the following companies subject to agreement of terms and conditions. A, ATJS Earthworks Proprietary Limited. B, Johnston Concrete and Quarry Proprietary Limited. C, Greenmount Australia. 2, provide that council provide delegated authority to the general manager to conduct all relevant functions under the panel contract. Item 1.4, general manager's performance report. Recommendation is that the report be noted. That's it from council in committee.
Thank you. Being no further business, I could declare the meeting.
Need to move those recommendations.
Sorry, could I have a mover and a seconder with those recommendations? Councillor and Councillor, I've got a mental block. And
That's what I think.
Wilmot. Oh, sorry, folks. That's really bad of me. Those in favour say aye. Being no further business, I declare the meeting closed at 10 p.m.